dinosaur to this series, and welcome if you're back. I am feeling the delicious nostalgia of this building Scorpio super full moon tomorrow. Be there or be square. Well, you can't not be there. But it's fun to be there intentionally as often as possible. In any case, I've actually been kind of swimming in these memories about swimming for kind of the past week and been thinking about doing this video because our youngest son already he's like ready for the water, and I'm really glad because over the last year, with separation, one of the things that my tribe helped me do was refocus on our kids, which I'd wanted to do beforehand too, but I, you know, I struggled with it because I was afraid of them seeing me emotional. And then I had some physical challenges to deal with too, and it like always felt like a crap mom if I just sat at the park doing my reading or stuff like that because I couldn't always go out and do stuff. And then there's part of me that just likes that. I'm a weird Capricorn. Like sometimes I just like to sit with a book while the kids go and play or do my things. Um, but I learned some beautiful things along the way that I'll share in other memories. But what I'm really, really grateful for is that I took the time to spend with my kids. And one of the things that we did was go to a local park by us that has a lake and go swimming a lot. And we had many times when we ran into friends or family there. We even did my youngest's birthday party there. And so he and I, in particular, have a lot of lovely memories of last summer and all the swimming and all the fun and all the friends and all the things, the ups and downs, the, the cheers and the screams, and just, yes, delightful absurdity. I'm so, so happy that I get to have those memories with him and that he got to have those memories, especially in such a hard time without having his dad, my DM, around with us. It's good. Um, Now, what's funny is, I mean, around here, Pacific Northwest, uh, we have variable weather. And so there are some times that in the middle of the spring, when we'd expect it to be still kind of cold and wet with the occasional warm day, where we have what some refer to as false summer, to where it'll be exceptionally warm for both the season and just in general for Washington, at least this area of Washington. And so we had a good week of it, and I was noticing other people were swimming, and I wasn't sure if my youngest wanted to try it. I knew that the lake was not warm, but even it was hot enough that even I was tempted to get in there. The only thing that kept me off is that the cold really bothers my knees and my back, and so I waited and let him go in first. Um, but he decided to go in, and it was a bit too cold, so he didn't stay in as long, but it got us to talking, especially after he decided he'd probably wait until the lake warms up a lot more, so maybe another couple of weeks before, well, I should say, a couple of more weeks before we get more consistently warm weather, not hot weather, but warm, and probably a few more weeks after that to when we have it be warm enough that it's not absolutely freezing in the lake. But we were talking about his dad, who has been making more of an effort, thank you, DM, to be in his life and to be in his brother's life. And one of the things that he was wondering is if his dad would go and swim with him. And I delighted in sharing some stories with him about the energy of swimming and his dad and some of my favorite memories of it. And I thought, you know what, I would have fun putting that in the story of us, especially because, well, for one thing, I always found it kind of adorable because he's a Cancer sun and he was afraid of swimming up until about how many years were we together before we did swimming? I'm gonna take a guess. He'll probably correct me. I think it was like 5 years into swimming, maybe a little longer. But either way, I really, really wanted him to get into swimming because our kids all loved it, including my bonus child, his daughter. And I loved it, and it was just such a fun family thing, and I knew he would love it. The water's always been so healing for him, but he was afraid of it, and part of that is how he grew up and didn't have the opportunities to go swimming and learn to swim were not as available as they were to others. And he also had a fear of drowning, and then this adorable fear that people would not like the look of his legs because he got teased about it a lot when he was younger. And I delighted in every opportunity that I got to tell him just how hot as fuck his legs are, and that even if they weren't, like, who gives a crap what anybody else thinks. And what I love is, like, this isn't one memory, it's kind of a collection of them, but that, like, from that first moment of going to shop for swim trunks, which I went and got for him first, and I spent the time to try to pick them out and look for them. And of course, because I was afraid of picking a set of, men's swim shorts that were too snug around the mid center, I ended up getting him a pair that were a little bit too big. And we ended up having to use like a safety pin to put them on, but he really liked the ones that I picked out, like that, so that was good. Can't get everything right 100% of the time, but we did that, and it was great because neither one of us could have seen like the divine timing of going into learning to swim, but we started kind of stretching things out a little bit, getting him into the water. We go to some of his favorite beaches and take the kids, and then we even had an evening time where we tried to go swimming in this little weird lake area in Kirkland that ended up being quite murky and stuff, but in fact, that was after, it was funny, that was after one of the first times he went in the water, and it's to his daughter's credit to get him in there, because our oldest son at the time was like, I think he was around he was around 3 or 4, and he was afraid of the water too, and this was part of my sales pitch on, you gotta at least be able to get in the water, because look, our little boy is afraid to get in the water. And he but his daughter was having a blast, and she'd always loved swimming and always been a beautiful mermaid sort, and he wanted to go and play. And this we went to, I believe it was Lake Goodwin. It was a park that I found through some other adventures, and was like, I want to go here, I think it would be great, and I think your daughter would really like it. And it was really fun to go there. And what was great too is we got out in the water and we were playing, we were having fun. Everything's pretty safe, and my dam's pretty tall, so we were, at least for me, we were able to go pretty deep. But I loved being able to watch his expressions and the fear and courage and all this different stuff going on as he got deeper and deeper in the water. And we were going out enough, because I'm like, you have to get out enough to where, like, you don't have to be where you can't touch, that's scary, but be enough to where you can float in the water and your feet can be above the ground. Like, you can put them down at any time, but like, I want to teach you how to float because that's like, one, it's the life skill, and two, it'll help you with the fear, that something will happen, because the body is naturally buoyant, although he's deliciously skinny. And so, like, I always used to joke about, I have no problems floating because of that foot. So it's a great aid when you're in the water. But what was really funny is we got out near where the ropes were, and his daughter was having a great time. I'm having a great time, and he's learning to float, learning to do it, and he decides he's going to try to go to the ropes. And then somebody in the center of the lake came a little bit too close to the buoys on a ski-doo or a jet ski, or whatever you want to call it, and ended up creating a wave. And I remember that, like, I was both confident and worried. Like, I knew that whatever happened with this, we would be fine afterwards, but I was worried about my DM being worried that he would drown. And then, like, I had made, these big promises, I won't let you drown, I promise, you'll be okay. Like, you've got this, and you can float, and I'll make sure that I'm there. And so these waves rolled in, and he, both of our heads went a bit underwater, so I got close to him and just trying to, like, keep him up so that, like, he didn't have to, like, do much in there. And it's good because I could feel he kind of panicked a little bit in that. And then I just started getting us back closer to the shallower end so that we could debrief after that. And he did play in the water a little bit longer, but we stayed in the safer, shallower ends for that particular adventure, which was fine. That was a lot more adventuring than we had expected to be having there. I had actually picked the lake because I thought it would be less busy and less full of motorized adventurers in the water, so it was kind of funny that that happened. But the great thing is he survived, and the kids had a great time and were very proud of him, and so was I, and so he wanted to try a little bit more, and that's how we ended up trying to go in the evening, like a really warm evening, to a little, I mean, it was a lake, but I think it was part like an inlet of the Puget Sound, and it was warm, but it was like this area where there was a lot of like old reeds and mud and stuff. So we mostly stayed in the shallows and just learned to back float. I remember doing with him like I've done with my kids. Like, no, just float. Just let yourself ease up. Just like I learned, I actually had swim lessons. I was lucky. I did almost drown a couple times as a kid and then got swim lessons because I wanted to keep swimming. So I knew what coaches and teachers did. And it's funny because I never would have seen that as an asset for those moments or later on, with my kids. In any case, that then led to more adventures in the water, and I really delighted because it also led to my DM finally wearing shorts for the first time, like at least since he was a kid, like for the first time as an adult, and because he wanted to, and he picked out these jean shorts that he really liked, and he started to like himself that way, and that was, yes, right, juicy, like making a perfect pizza. And then came the adventures of the Great Wolf Lodge in what's it, Yelm, Washington, and it's like an indoor water park wizardry hotel thing, and my mom had set us up to go there, and it was really, really fun the first time. The second time we were fighting a bit, so it wasn't quite as much fun, but the first time was really, really great. He got into bringing like a GoPro, and he was so excited about being able to do all that, and ended up like that's definitely a great family memory, at least the first time. The second time we managed to have fun because we were there to have fun, but it was a weird, there's family drama that was involved in the second one. It could have gone a lot better, though. You know what, I look forward to future moments where we get to go there and take the kids there again. They still talk about it too. In any case, it was really like the swimming adventures were really awesome to have, and then there was later ones where my DM got in the water with our boys and at the lake that I've been taking my youngest to, and lots of stuff that went on. He even wore shorts to to our youngest birthday party last year, and it made me giggle because I remember the memories of the first swimming and the first shorts, and I remember that used to be a thing that would spin me out. I'd get spun out on my own because we talk a lot about, oh man, wouldn't it have been different if like we didn't have such an age difference and we'd met each other first before others and stuff like that. And I was like sad, and I was always looking for firsts that we could share together. We actually had quite an emphasis on it in the last like 5 years, which was really great because now we have a whole ton of firsts to go through. But I love looking at the things that were unintentionally first, and that they're just sweet little memories to share. I really like them. Anyways, I may or may not come back on to share some more stories of us or do some other videos. So if I see you, I'll see you in the next video, and if I don't, I'll see you whenever the next video comes out of me.